Welcome back to the Autobrite Direct Touring Car Legends series. We are here for another 2 races of this awesome championship. This time we're back in Germany. We're at the Nürburgring for rounds number 7 and 8 of the championship. 2 more races on this 3.2 mile circuit, which has played host to absolutely everything from touring cars to Formula 1 and even truck racing throughout its history. A quick look at the championship before we go racing, and as you can see, SLR Lancer has a dominant lead at the top of the field against Bradestig in second. SLR Machine Head, Faster Alex round out the top 4 with Smokescreen PKM rounding out the top 5 for Alfa Romeo. Night Mike, Karting Ben, Kinky Cowboys, X-Kidders and Pronag will be trying to get themselves in towards the top 5 position. Before we go racing, let's take a quick look around one of the most driven circuits in the world on board the Ford of Bradestig. So down the main straight to start our lap here at the Nürburgring, under the BMW bridge, past the pit garages, which has been M24 when that series was racing, past the roller coaster and down in towards turn 1. Downhill braking, cambered corners, so it is quite difficult to get the car turned in if you're not in exactly the right position. Use the curb on the exit, haul the car over to the right hand side for the entry of turn 2. It's a really long corner, it's quite hard to keep your feet off the pedals and to stop yourself drifting wide in towards the speed complex of turn 3 and 4. Again, it's really easy to use all the curb here and end up a little bit too wide on the exit, but you can use that escape road to try and maximise your exit. Now we're heading down into the Grand Prix loop, the short circuit, it veers off to the right, but we're going to veer off to the left. The road again is slightly cambered, so you can carry a lot more speed here, but this braking zone is downhill, so it suckers you in and makes it really easy to put the gravel on the exit. Again, we're firing down a hill in towards a banked hairpin, so once again you can carry a lot of speed. You're only braking as late as possible as you head through the grandstand sections. Use those white strips on your left hand side to spot your braking point, keep the nose in tight and use all the curb on the exit. Now we're heading up to the Schumacher S's. You want to try and carry as much speed through here as possible as a short straight after it. So try and use as much of the curbs to try and straight line these corners as much as possible. You're around about 110, 115 miles an hour on the exit, even in these retro touring cars. Now we're heading in towards the final sector. You can use all the curb on your left hand side there. Don't go too wide on the exit. You've got to haul the car back over to the left hand side for this next right hand corner. Now we're into the fastest part of the circuit. It's absolutely flat out from here. This right hander is completely flat. You're touching 150, in some cars 160 miles an hour before you head into the braking zone of the final chicane. The barriers are really close here, so you need to spot your braking points as quickly as you can. Hit the curb on the left. Hit the curb in the middle, hit the curb on the exit. Now we're only 1 corner safe from home. The pit lane entry is on our right hand side. The entry to the Nordschleife is on your left, but don't veer off there. Head round to the right hand side, through the final corner, blast past the grandstands, under the BMW bridge, and that'll complete our lap of the Nürburgring. So now it's time to see how things pan out in qualifying and find out where everyone's going to be starting. So for the 4th time in succession, it's SLR Lancer on pole, but this time his teammate is starting off P3 as Brad has got himself to 2nd. 4th is Chris Threadgill, row number 3 sees Faster Alex alongside Carlton Ben, all BMW row number 3. Row 4 is Night Mike Rules and WA10 Tom. Row 5 is Kinky Cowboy and Snapping Lamb in a 3rd BMW. Row 6 is Fruski and PLR Plato in the Soul Volvo. Row number 7 is the Racing Nova in the Sierra alongside Kidders, who was upside down at Bathurst. Rounding out this field is Pronag Racing on P15. So we're away and racing for round number 7 of the championship. The Alphas, as expected, get a really good start. Threadgill looks like he's got the jump on Bradis up into 3rd place, so good start there from the Pro-Am graduate. Down the inside, he just gets himself into P3, but the 2 SLR cars look like they've got away scot-free at the front of this one. Bradis, though, trying to hang on for 3rd place. Down the inside of Threadgill in towards turn number 3. The Alfa Romeo's on the outside. If you can hold it on the outside, it'll give him the inside for the next corner. Just about. Brad has gets his nose in front. Is he going to be able to sweep across the front of that Alfa Romeo? Just about. Brad gets back into 3rd place. Behind her, looks like the 3 wide heading down into the bottom section. Night Mike versus Faster Alex heading into the left-hander. Alex has the inside line, so you expect him to be able to take that corner with ease. Gets through now into the downhill braking. Night Mike shows the nose. And oh, a little bit of lag there. That looks like, oh, Alex is off. Alex is gone. So that's it. That's the BMW out of this one. That's Nightmike up in position. Behind you got Fruski and Tom getting into this one with Kart and Ben heading in towards the bottom hairpin. Looking at Ben, the Alpha sends it down the inside, gets one place, maybe gets set 2 places after a quick little bump and run. So decent move there from the Alpha to get himself up, but Fruski's not going to like that. He's going to want to get that position back as quickly as possible. Heading into the Schumacher S's. This isn't really an overtaking point. You don't want to be going too wide through here. Just about 115 contact. The pair of them are off. The Alphas both off in towards the gravel. A little bit further in front, you've got Ben. It's just about hanging on from Nova. He's had a really good start, but he's sideways in turn, and he's just in front of the Hornet Ford Sierra of Cowboy there. Looks like they've got a little bit of run though on Nova, heading down the back straight through the flat out like right-hander before they head up towards the chicane for the first time to put the first lap in the book. Look at the back of Nova. He's lost a little bit of ground already to Ben. Cowboy sends it down the inside. This will be a feature of these races. Expect to see that quite a lot. That's going to be one of the best overtaking points. It's the biggest braking point on the lap, and that's allowed Cowboy to get through on Nova. Nova himself's had a good start. He started outside the top 10, and now he's running comfortably inside it. It looks like he's got himself up towards the top 5, top 6 maybe. Right in the slipstream though of that Hornets car, heading in towards turn number 1 for the second time. He's got Kidders just behind him, so Kidders again having a good start there. Cowboy just goes a little bit wide. That's enough to let the 666 car. That's a devil of a move down the inside, but gives him the outside for turn 3. It's not where you want to be. He's hung out to dry, and that's allowed Kidders in the green car to get himself down the inside. Is this going to be 2 places for Kidders? He's got 1 place down the inside of Nova at the moment, but Nova's just about hanging on. Kidders sweeps across the nose, splits the 2 Sierras. It's 3 Sierras nose to tail. That green Samsung sponsored car in a sandwich there with old retro liveries as they head down towards the bottom end of the circuit. But Kidders gets himself up 1 position. Nova's going to try and go around the outside of that bottom corner, but that's going to be a decent idea. It's going to give him the inside for the next corner, allow him to send it down there, give him a little bit of a nudge, and just about keep the place. But Kidders is still side by side. This is going to bring Snapping Lamb and potentially Plato into this one as well in the Volvo. The Volvo seems to fare quite well around it. There's quite a lot of long straights. Kidders still trying to hold it around the outside, but has to back out of that one. Gets back into the slipstream, and Nova is now going to try and set his sights on Cowboy just in front. But you've got a little bit of a gap now forming after that battle. It shows how quickly he can start losing time. Look at the little gap that Ben's already managed to build up as Cowboy goes a little bit sideways through the S's. Now you got Threadgill coming under pressure from Nightmike. This is the fight for 4th place. So Threadgill potentially about to lose 4th, having run up in 3rd at the start of this race. Nightmike fires it down the inside of the Sierra. The 61 car's got the place. You don't see an Alfa Romeo losing a position very often, but you've just seen it there. The Sierra of Nightmike gets himself up into 4th place. Heading through the final corner, is Threadgill going to have an answer for him? Doesn't look like it. But potentially the Alpha could drop into that slipstream. We've seen the SLR cars have been able to find a bit of top-end speed with those Alfa Romeos compared to some of the other cars in the field. But that Sierra looks like it's just about got the match of him. Heading in towards turn number 1, will the Alpha fancy a late dive? Thinks a little bit better of it. Threadgill's going to potentially try and back the points to 5th instead of trying to banzai it for 4th place. Now you've got Kidders trying to fend off Nova. Heading in towards turn number 1. Nova closes right up onto the rear bumper. Kidders runs a little bit wide on the exit there, clips the grass, gets a little bit sideways. Is that going to be enough to let Nova down the inside? Just about. The Alaman Racing Sierra chucks it down the inside. Looks like he gets the position on the lime green. Sierra doesn't quite have it done yet. Now he does though. He's got the position. He's got in front. He's been able to cement that position now. And he's now trying to set his sights on Kinky Cowboy just in front. He's closed up quite a bit on Carting Ben in front though. But the Alaman Racing car heading down in towards the bottom end of the circuit. He's not away with this scot-free yet. Kidders is still right under the rear wing of him, so tiny little mistake, and that could end up seeing that Alaman Racing car falling back down the field, but it's Kidders who makes the mistake. So the Volvo now looks like it's starting to come under a little bit of pressure from the Alfa Romeo behind. Tom's been catching over the last lap or so. Volvo, the 8 car, runs a little bit wide. Is that going to be enough to let the Alfa Romeo to get into that battle? Not quite close enough just yet. That Volvo's not too brilliant through the corners, but it's the only front-wheel drive car in the field, and to try and get any pace out of it, you have to run it with an extremely locked diff. So it ends up being really poor under power, and the Alpha sends it down the inside. That was a send and a half. The Volvo's gone out towards the outside. The Volvo's been pushed off, just gets back on track side by side with the Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa of Tom gets the position, but but Paleto in the Volvo still on the inside. That's going to be the outside for the next part of the corner. Will he be able to hold it on around the outside? Not quite. The two pink cars have to battle it out, but it's the black and pink car that prevails. Heading down in towards the bottom hairpin. This is where the Volvo is a little bit stronger. It does have a little bit more power than that Alfa Romeo. It is a little bit quicker in a straight line. Will he fancy a send down the inside? Not quite close enough to go for it. You can see he thought about it. The Alfa runs a touch wide. Is the Volvo going to be able to stick a nose heading through the Schumacher S's? Down the main straight. Once again, now Volvo's close right up down that straight. The power of advantage really helping. Hard on the brakes. Shows the nose on the inside, but the Alfa runs wide. That's just what Placer and the Volvo needs. A little bit of a tag there by the looks of it, but they just about get away with it. That Alfa, though, still has that position. The Volvo not able to get its power down. You see it lighting up its front wheels compared to the four-wheel drive Alfa. The Alfa just has that little bit better drive off the corner, meaning he can just about stay ahead. And through this section, it's a little bit stronger as well, thanks to the extra turning advantage from the four-wheel drive compared to the front-wheel drive. Now you've got Threadgill coming back at Night Mike. Night Mike sent it down the inside of the final chicane. Threadgill, though, starting to come back at him. Maybe the tyres on that Sierra are starting to go off a little bit, but it's definitely not helping Night Mike here. The Alfa Romeo is starting to close in. So it is already 3 Alphas in the top 5. It could be 3 Alphas in the top 4 if Night Mike keeps sliding around like that. Heading in towards the final sector now. This is where the Sierra is a little bit stronger compared to the Alfa. You see, especially between these two cars, the Sierra does have a little bit more top-end speed compared to that Threadgill Alfa. You just see it starting to gap it a little bit, but the Alfa's quite strong in the braking. The four-wheel drive also helps it out of this corner. Will he fancy a dive down the inside? He's nowhere near close enough to go for it. Thinks a little bit better of it. He's going to have to try and spend a lap or so, trying to catch back up. That's exactly what he's done. He's right on the tail now. Having a look in towards turn number 1. This is going to be a dive and a half from this far back. Isn't quite close enough to get it done. Night Mike's wise to it. The Sierra just about hanging on now, but lights up the rear tyres. That might be enough to get the Alfa in towards the rear of that Sierra. He lights the tyres up again. You can see the Alfa now right on the rear bumper. The Alfa fires it down the inside. Threadgill gets the position back. So that's Threadgill back up to 4th place. Night Mike's not going to take it napping. He takes a slightly wider line on the way in, and he's going to try and get the cut back. Down the back straight, he's got the outside for this next corner. That's not where you want to be. Threadgill has the inside. He's got the power play. He needs to try and get in front of that Sierra. Otherwise, Night Mike's going to have the inside for the next corner. He just holds it around the outside, gets the move back. Night Mike sends it down the inside and gets back to 4th place. Threadgill tries to go for the cutback, but he's not quite got the power down enough. He's not got the straight line speed to outdrag that Sierra in towards the bottom hairpin. Will he fancy a dive down here? He goes for it. Really late braking move. Is he going to get the car stop? Not enough as the Sierra cuts back on him. But the Alfa gets the drive. Will he be able to fancy it around the outside of the Schumacher S's? He's a little bit smarter than that. He doesn't go for that move. A few lesser drivers would have tried it. The Threadgill backs out and thinks about fighting it another day. But a little bit of a sidestep there from Night Mike. Heading in towards the last sector, the rear of that Sierra is definitely not planted. So this battle is definitely not over yet. Threadgill, the four-wheel drive Alfa, still might stand a chance against this fishtaily rear-wheel drive Sierra in the final couple of laps. Kidders now has pressure from Fruski behind. The RTL Alfa Romeo has been trying to claw its way through the field after the contact at the start, and its next target is Kidders in that lime green Sierra in towards the final chicane. He sends it down the inside. That's a very big send. Bounces over the curb, doesn't quite get the place. He lets Kidders back in. Heading in towards the final corner. Will the Alfa fancy dive in there? Not quite close enough. So it's going to potentially be a dive in towards turn 1. As you can see, Cowboy now has his hands full in front, trying to get past. He can't pick out what that car is. The kid is going defensive straight away. He knows the move's coming. He expects the move. So if Fruski's going to get it, he's going to have to go the long way round. Kidders signals his intent really early, but the Alfa gets in front. Kidders, though, can just hang him out to dry. Through here, you want to be on the inside to be able to defend it, but he doesn't quite get the power down. The Alfa tries to go for the cutback. He's on the outside again. Kidders has the in the driving seat for this one and just hangs on against Fruski in that Alfa. But the Alfa now, the Alfa's got the inside. Thinks about it. Kidders shuts him off. A little bit of a nudge there, a little bit of a touch. It's getting a little bit argy-bargy between these two. You want to keep it clean, guys. Come on. Looks like Nova and Cowboy trying to go at it. Fruski to get around the outside. He's not been able to make this move work so far, but he's further alongside than Kidders. He just about gets the nose in front. Kidders, though, comes back at him. He's now got the inside for this one, and Kidders has already got his nose back in front. Kidders sweeps across and defends the position, as it looks like Cowboy's trying to get the move on Nova in front of him in towards the final hairpin, but it's Kidders who's managed to fend off the Alfa Romeo Fruski as he head in towards the final in towards that hairpin. He's not close enough to fancy a dive, and Kidders starting to pull a bit of a gap on that Alfa Romeo, but the Alfa closes up in the acceleration zones, but Kidders just about has the measure of him at the moment, so no danger at the moment from a move from Fruski unless there's a little bit of a touch. These two are at it again. Not very often you see the Volvo hunting down a car in front of him, but that's exactly what we've got here, as Plato's trying to hunt down the Alfa Romeo. He's side by side in towards turn number 1. The 8 car versus the 43. Will the Volvo be able to get it stopped? The Alfa's not got it stopped. He's all sorts of sideways, and that's left Tom in the Alfa a little bit further out, and it's got to let the Volvo through, so the Volvo's made an overtake. Write it down in the history books, guys, we might never see it again. And the Volvo made an overtake in the pro lobby, but the Alfa's trying to come straight back at it, using all of the curb, all the road, and a little bit more to try and open out that corner and get a dive down the inside, but the Volvo's wise to it. The Volvo manages to defend. Look in front, there's a BMW who's gone all sideways, so this 2-car fight might be about to become a 3-car fight. So you've got 1 car recovering, 1 car that's just spun in front. That was Snapping Lamb that had the spin, and the Volvo's all over it. Plato and the Volvo's all over the rear of that BMW. These two had a bit of a coming together at the start of this race, and now this 3-car fight's about to get really tasty. Heading in towards the bottom hairpin, will the Volvo be able to fancy a dive on the BMW? The BM's probably one of the stronger cars in a straight line. You can see it's just managing to pull out in front of the Volvo. Just about gets it stopped, but look how much the Volvo's closed up on that corner. He's right on the rear bumper. The Alfa's in this one as well. The 3 of them are nose to tail. The Alfa's going to try and take the racing line through here and potentially try and get onto the back of the Volvo and the BMW into the next section. The Volvo jinks out. The Volvo goes for it. Snapping Lamb on the outside now, vulnerable to the Volvo. You don't hear those words very often, but we're hearing them today. We're at the Nürburgring Ring, Germany, the home of the BMW, and the BMs are not faring too well here, as they're about to be overtaken by a Volvo and potentially an Alfa Romeo as well. This is the section where the Volvo's strong. The Volvos are quick in a straight line. That's one thing it does have going for it. Down the back straight, locked into the slipstream of that BMW in front. The Volvo just sticking with it. You can see the gap they've pulled to the Alfa Romeo already, and potentially the Volvo pulling out for a move here. Down the inside of the chicane, will he fancy it? Locks up, a little bit of a bump. He uses all of the curb, uses all of the road. The Volvo gets in front. The BMW gets the power down though. He's got the inside line for this final corner. Just 1 lap left to go here. Down the inside, the Volvo gets the cut back as the BM runs wide. Will the Alfa fancy a dive in this one as well? Not quite close enough to go for it, and the Volvo in front of 2 cars now. Amazingly, the Volvo's overtaken 2 cars, not 1, it's happened again. But the Alfa Romeo now looking to try and overtake the BMW. Snapping Lamb versus Tom potentially. But the BMW Snapping Lamb gets right onto the back of that Volvo. Someone needs to remind this guy in the beam that this isn't the British Drift Championship, this is the Autobrite Direct Touring Car Legends. The Alfa Romeo sends it down the inside of the slippery BMW. The BMW's all sorts of sideways, so he looks like he's out of this one. It looks like it's going to be a straight fight between the Alfa Romeo and the Volvos again. I think the rear tyres on that car. The Alfa down the inside again. Little bit of contact this time. The Volvo looks like he just stays on track. The Alfa gets in front though. So that second time Tom's pulling that move on the same car, and this time it's worked for him. But he's got the outside for this corner as the Volvo sent it down the inside. Decent move there from the Plato in the Volvo, but the Alfa just about to throw back down the inside, returns the favour, nerfs him out, and that's going to allow Snapping Lamb to try and get a run on him. Heading down in towards the bottom hairpin. The Volvo locked into the rear of the Alfa. He looks down the inside. Will he fancy a dive? He just about isn't close enough to go for it. The Alfa's run wide again. That's now Snapping Lamb down the inside. BMW, the Snapping Lamb's just about got into the side of the Volvo. A little bit of contact, and it looks like the Volvo's just about got the legs on him through the chicane. The BM's just in front of the Volvo. But this time, round number 7, it's his 6th win of the championship. SLR Lancer once again comes home to take victory in the Autobrite Direct Touring Car Legends. He is chased home by his teammates SLR Machine Head with Brad Stick completing the podium. Chris Redgill in 4th after that battle with Nightlight comes home in 4th place. 5th is Nova. 6th is Carton Ben. 7th is Kidders. Kiki Cowboy comes home 8th. Fruski comes home 9th. Amazingly, the Volvo rounds out the top 10 with Nemesis or PMR Plato. 11th is Snapping Lamb, and Tom rounds out the top 12. So after that fight, it's all down to the reverse grid second race that will be taking place under the lights here at the Nürburgring. So that's going to promote Pronag and Tom onto the front row, with Snapping Lamb and Nemesis and the Volvo lining up on row number 2. That means we get to see that battle reignited. So let's head down to the grid to see it all kick off. So off and running for race number 2 of the day. Good start for the Alfa Romeo off the front. But Pronag in that Sierra got a decent start as well, so the Sierra's pretty much kept pace with the Alfa Romeo. So this could be a bit of an issue for him. Heading down in towards turn number 1, Snapping Lamb gets a little bit of a shove, but it shoves him in the right direction. He's now side by side with Fruski and Pronag, 3 wide over second place, and it looks like Fruski's just got himself through, but Pronag's got the better of him. Pronag's on the inside line here. The pair of them could come to grief if they're not careful. Pronag gets himself into second place, and it's his turn to chase down the Alfa Romeo in front, but Snapping Lamb in the BMW fires it down the inside of Fruski in the Alfa. Will he be able to get a good run out of that corner, potentially take second place off Pronag heading in towards the bottom section of the circuit? He's now got the inside line in towards this corner, and he just gets the nose in front. So that's Snapping Lamb up to second. Tom's getting away in front for the lead, but Pronag fires it down the inside of Fruski. That's going to drop him and leave him in the clutches of that. Looks like Cowboy's good in there. Carting Ben's up there. Bradders is already up there as well. So good start there from the Sierra, who's come from the third back row of the grid. But Fruski just gets his nose in front. He's run wide though. Cowboy gets the move. Ben's going to get past as well. That's Pronag now. We're into third place with King Cowboy's just behind. Fruski there in 5th place. Carting Ben round out the top 6. Then you've got Bradders there in 7th, put up at the front. Tom is running away with this. Looks like Lancer's got himself into the top 10 as well from towards the back of the grid. Looking at Cowboy now, trying to make a move quite quickly on Pronag. Looks like Snapping Lamb starting to get away a little bit at the front of this pack. But in front of that, you got cars off the background. Not quite sure what happened there. Didn't quite see it. But it looks like Pronag now trying to fend off Kinky Cowboys. So looks like we're going to get a good look at what happened there. So we've got on board with Racing Nova in the Sierra. We've got Bradders in front. Bradders has gone for a dive, and it's forced the other 2 off. That's forced looks like Fruski and Ben off there as well. So those 2 guys are going to be dropping right down towards the back of the field. This is on board with Fruski now in the Alfa Romeo. So we're going to get a good shot to see what happened here. It looks like Bradders way later than the guys in front. Obviously wasn't expecting them to check up as quickly as he did. And then to add into injury, Ben got past as well there. Back with the battle between Pronag and Cowboy though, heading into the chicane for just the first time of asking. There's only 1 lap in the book so far, and we're already seeing a lot of carnage going on already. Cowboy down the inside, just about gets the place on Pronag. Pronag fights back on them. Pronag just gets the place back in towards 3rd position, but look how far that BMW's got away already. So these guys fighting to allow the BM to get away, potentially to start chasing down the Alfa Romeo. You can't even see the rear lights. The Alfa is that far in front at the moment. Cowboy though trying to get himself up to second place now, as he's got himself past Pronag for 4th. You got Lancer in there as well, so Lancer's got himself up to 5th place already. He's got 4th place Pronag right in front of him. Lancer in the Alfa Romeo fires it down the inside. Pronag goes to the move. He gets himself up the order, but Lancer's going to get the lot of him. Lancer's going to get past the lot, and this might give him a clear run at Tom and Snapping Lamb in front of them. But it looks like Pronag, Cowboy and Nightmike have got themselves through, so the Alphas tumbled back down the order. His teammates in there as well. Nightmike looks like he might be about to get to the front of this field as Nova sends it down the inside, makes it 3 wide. Pronag gets it all sorts of sideways there, so the Sierra now loses its pace. Nightmike's on the inside. These guys are 2-3 wide the entire way down this pack. Nightmike looks like he's in the driving seat here. He fires it down the inside of Pronag. They go 2 wide. Pronag's got the inside line for this next corner, but he's got Cowboy right up behind him, who in turn's got Lancer. You've got Faster Alex and Machine Head in this fight as well. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars going at it now over 3rd place. While these guys are fighting, that is just allowing Tom and Snapping Lamb to get away. But that's Cowboy now down the inside of Pronag. Will he just about carry that speed through? Looks like he's just got away with it. Pronag just about got the position there. As they headed towards the Schumacher S's, Pronag still hanging on from Cowboy. Just a good run at the moment, but Nightmike's all sorts of sideways. He's lost out to Lancer, he's lost out to Nova. He might be about to lose out to Alex and Machine Head around the outside. So Nightmike in the space of 1 corner's down 3 positions. Lancer now trying to get around the outside of Cowboy. Now down the inside of Cowboys. He's trying to in turn get past Pronag. Pronag just hanging on. Lancer's got the move. Lancer's through for fourth place now. He's got third place Pronag just in front of him. But this is where his Alpha's strong. The SLR boys seem to have the way of tuning that car a little bit different to the other guys in the Alfa Romeos. They just managed to get that car working for them. Down the inside, he thinks about it on Pronag, but Cowboy goes around the outside. He sends it on the inside of Pronag. I don't think he meant to send it that early, but he went for it anyway. And Lancer now going to go down the inside of Pronag, so Pronag's lost one position. This could be the cork in the bottle. He's got Nova around his outside. Lancer trying to go around the inside, and Nova gets around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, but they're going to go 3 wide down the straight. You've got Nova on the inside, closest to his Pronag in the middle. Lancer debating going down the inside, which is going to go in towards turn number 1. Thinks a little bit better of it. Locks back into the slipstream as you got the 2 Sierras drag racing down the main straight in towards turn number 1. Looks like Nova's gone a little bit wide there. That'll allow Pronag to get back, and Lancer's going to go down the middle of them. That'll be a good move if he can pull that off, and he's got the move on Pronag. Pronag's falling down the order. This is what we were worried of. Pronag starting to fall down the order. Now one car's got through, the rest of them have got through. Machine Head's gone through. Looks like Alex has gone through as you got Nova now trying to go through on Cowboy. Around the outside of that bottom corner, doesn't quite have the pace, but Cowboy's all sorts of sideways, and that's going to allow Lancer to go down the outside and get the move in towards third place. The 2 Sierras come together, but the Alfa Romeo has got himself in front. So Lancer now has clear track, around about 7 to 8 seconds of clear track in front of him and the guys who are fighting over first place. We got the 2 Sierras still side by side as he head down the back straight, down in towards the hairpin. It's now going to be potentially 3 wide as Alex coming off the back of the grid after that DNF in race 1, trying to do everything he can to try and salvage some points. Alex is so far the only person to have beat the Alfa Romeos in a straight race. He took a win in race 2 at Bathurst. He's fighting over a top 5 position here. Maybe not close enough to go for a win at this point, but he's lost a position. There's Machine Head in the Alfa Romeo. So he's beaten one of the Alphas, but he's just been beaten by one of the others. Machine Head's on a roll there. He's just took another position of Nova. He's gone past him as if Nova was standing still. That SLR Alfa Romeo is set up pretty well at the moment. Looks like Nova's gone a little bit wide towards the exit, right at the back. You've got a few more cars fighting over this. You've got Alex, and I think that's Nova down the inside, so Alex might be about to lose another position here. So Nova down the inside in the 666 car on the main straight, just out dragging that BMW. The BMW's got him back. Now you've got Kidders and Pronag trying to get themselves past Fruski in the Alfa Romeo. Pronag started to fall down the order here. He's trying his best to keep himself up the order. He's got 2 Sierras now trying to get past him. Fruski's already done the deal. Kid is now side by side, and he's got Nightbite waiting in the wings. That looks like Dragekill's a little bit further behind them as well. So if these guys start fighting a little bit too hard, then the Alpha could get into this one as well. The Volvo's not too far behind either. They're going 3 wide down the main straight. Nightbite's got the move at the moment. Hard on the brakes, the guys are just about going to get the car stopped, are they? Nightmite runs a little bit wide, and that's going to invite Dreadkill down the inside, so 3 for the price of 1. Thank you very much. The Alfa Romeo sends it down the inside, but Nightmite's not going to go down without a fight and gets himself back, so it's only 2 positions, but Dreadkill sends it back down the inside. I'm going to have this position. I've fought for that one, and he tries to go around the outside again. The 4-wheel drive of the Alfa Romeo just pulls him in front of that Sierra. Awesome move there by Threadgill. This is the fight for the lead. Tom's had a good, decent lead over the first couple of laps, but now Snapping Lamb's caught him up with the BMW. The Alfa runs wide. This is the BM's chance. The BM throws it down the inside. It's going to give him the outside for the next corner. All Tom's got to do is just hold him around the outside, and he'll hold on to the lead. Lamb just about has to get out of it. These two are fighting in race number 1 for around about 10th place. Now they're fighting over P1. The BMW looks down the inside. This is where Tom's a little bit stronger. He's been sending it down the inside of this corner a few times in race number 1 and just about hangs on from the charge of Snapping Lamb. You can see behind, that's Lancer closing in. So that's SLR Lancer, championship leader. He's won most of the races, all but 1 so far, and now he's closing in on this lead battle. If these guys keep fighting, it's only going to bring him in that little bit quicker. Tom, though, looks like he doesn't quite have the pace of the BMW behind. It's only a matter of time now before the BM catches up. Look how quickly Lancer's caught up, though. You can see the headlights of that Alfa Romeo now as the BMW looks down the inside of the bottom hairpin. He sent it down the inside. Will the Alfa be able to get the power down? No, he's not able to. The two are side by side heading down the back straight towards the Schumacher S's. Someone's going to have to give here, otherwise it could end up in a mighty accident. They'll both end up losing out, but they're still side by side. Tom backs out of it, he's locked into second place. Snapping Lamb takes the lead in the BMW, but Tom's going to try and come back out in the 43 car's going to try and send it back down the inside. Not quite close enough, he thinks about it anyway, little tiny touch, and runs a little bit wide. Lancer's now right in this. He's only about a second, maybe two at most behind these two. He's caught up 7 seconds in just a handful of laps thanks to these two battling. Tom locked in the slipstream now. Lancer's closing in behind, heading towards the flat-out right-hander and up towards the chicane. Looking at Lancer, he can see the brake lights of the pair of cars in front. Tom sends it down the inside, contact between the two of them. The BMW spat out towards the exit. He gets all sorts of sideways, and that's allowed Lancer to close right up onto the rear bumper of them. This is going to be the point where they lose the lead. Lancer's going to potentially send it down the inside, not quite close enough. The BMW lags out a little bit. That slowed the Alpha down. Lamb's got the lead at the moment, but Lancer's around the outside and got to second place. So Lancer up to second already, and he's bringing the rest of them in tow. Snapping Lamb and the Beamer now trying to hang on from SLR Lancer. You've got to think this is almost a done deal at this point, that Lancer's going to get to the lead and potentially sod off again. The 36 BMW just hanging on through that corner. He's right on the limit of grip. He's pushing that BMW as hard as he physically can to try and stay in front of that Alfa Romeo, but the Alfa is just cruising up behind him, diving down the inside. Look how quickly it changed direction. He's thrown it down the inside. He gets the power down. Lancer gets the lead in round number 8 of the championship. Is this going to be 7 wins from 8 races? It looks like a foregone conclusion at this point. Tom now trying to fend off Kinky Cowboy, who's managed to catch up to the pair of these two. Lancer in the front has sodded off in the distance, while at the moment the BMW and the Alfa have to try and defend from a Sierra. So this fight at the moment is 3 different marks. The BOP at the moment, you've got to say, seems to be doing pretty well at the moment. But heading in towards the bottom corner, Tom sends it down the inside. He's like this overtaking move at the moment, in contact with the BMW. The BM spat out. That's now 1 Sierra through, 2 Sierras potentially. It's going to allow Machine Head through as well. Machine Head's got it. Cowboy's got through to second. Cowboy's round the outside towards second. Will he be able to hold it around the outside of Snapping Lamb and the Beamer? Yes, he does. Is that going to allow Nova into this one as well to potentially snag the 3rd podium place away from the BMW driver? Machine Head's in there as well, so Machine Head could be about to complete an SLR 1-2 if he plays his cards right here. But Snapping Lamb's got back in front of Cowboy. Cowboy sends it down the inside, shows the nose. The BMW runs a little bit wide, and the Sierra gets through for second place once again. But looks like you've got Machine Head now fighting against Nova, but Snapping Lamb right into the rear wing of that bit of the Sierra, heading through the Schumacher S's. He's all sorts of sideways. That's going to give Machine Head his chance. Nova's going to go down round the outside. Snapping Lamb's not going to make it easy for him. He goes, switches back to the inside. Nova down the inside, a little bit of a rub through that bottom corner. Machine Head's in there as well. He's ready to follow through with the Sierra, and the Sierra just nudges the BMW out wide. It looks like Machine Head's already got the move done. Yes, he has the 3 wide down the main straight, backs out of it a touch. I think it sounded like he hit the limiter, but now Nova around the outside of BMW. This isn't going to really work into this chicane unless it's a massive send from him. Thinks a little bit better of it, as it looks like there was a bit of a send in the background there. Not quite sure what happened. There's a car bobbling over the curbs as Nova gets in front. So this is Alex versus Bradders and Machine Head. The car spun Alpha was in this. I think he was the one that bobbled over the curb. So he's out of this one, as you got the 3 cars fighting it out towards the back end of the top 5 now, down the main straight. That BMW's quick in a straight line. Alex is the only driver to have won a race apart from SLR Lancer, whose teammate Alex is trying to line up for the move down in towards turn 1. Machine Head runs really wide there. Looks like Snapping Lamb's holding on as well in front, so it's good driving from him and the BMW. It's going to definitely be one of his best positions if he can hang on. But Machine Head gets back down the inside of the BMW of Alex. He gets a little bit sideways through that bottom corner, and now he's got to be careful. I think Bradders is getting into that one as well. So if they're not careful, he's about to lose another place as well. Heading in towards the bottom section, he uses all the curb, and that's going to allow Bradders to get through. Bradders gets through on the inside of Alex, coming down the bottom straight, but Alex is trying to fight back down the inside. Looks like the Sierra, though, just about going to be able to hold it around the outside. That'll give him the inside for the next corner. And is that going to depose Alex out? Yes, it is. It deposes Alex of that position as they head down towards the bottom hairpin. This is the man, though. He's coming through to take yet another victory in the Autobrite Direct Touring Car Legends. This guy slowly carving out a legendary status for himself. It's SLR Lancer who comes across the line to win round number 8 of the championship. So it will be SLR Machine Head who came home in second place, with Brightest rounding out the podium. Same top 3 as race number 1, so good driving from those guys to make their way through. Racing Nova comes home 4th, Greg Gill completes the top 5. For Alfa Romeo, Kinky Cowboys comes home 6th, with Faster Alex in 7th, Snapping Lamp 8th, Night Mike 9th. X-Kidders comes home in 10th, Fruski in 11th, and having started from the front row, W8N Tom rounds out the top 12. So what have those 2 races done for the championship? Well, as expected, SLR Lancer extends his lead at the top of the championship, but SLR Machine Head gets himself back into second place. He's now locked in a tight battle for second with Brightest, who's just 4 points behind him. Moving up to 4th place is Tarek Gill in the Alfa Romeo with a top 5, rounded out by Faster Alex. Fruski is in 6th, with Night Mike 7th, Karting Ben 8th, Kinky Cowboys 9th, and Kidders rounding out the top 10. That completes the pro action from the Nürburgring. The next time we see these guys is when we head down to Long Beach, USA, for rounds 9 and 10 of the championship. If you like what you're seeing and you want to see more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to check the AM classes, which comes out next.